Hello and welcome to a very special edition of From the Be All End, the Burnley podcast. I'm Andrew Greaves and I'm not joined by any of the usual gang for this particular episode, but I am joined by two big Burnley fans, two lifelong Burnley fans, James McDonough and Paul Kopak. Paul and James have known each other for a number of years and were the brains behind James's bid to become Blackburn Rovers manager a few years ago. Sadly, he didn't get the Blackburn Rovers job. I can imagine they'd be, North West Counties Division 7 or whatever it'd be by this point, had James been in charge. But they're on the show today just to talk about a very special episode that they recorded quite a few miles from Turf Moor. It involves one of James's heroes, I think somebody who's a hero to many Burnley fans. So I'm just going to ask you, James, this special episode, who is it with and how did it all come about?
Well, it's with a very special guest, as you mentioned, a person that we've not heard from much in many years since he left Burnley. So I think there'll be a lot of intrigue around what he's got to say. But it's with Jimmy Mullen, who was manager. He presided over, I guess, a resurgence in our fortunes after many years in the doldrums. I think we had 7 or 8 years in the 4th division, and in his first season as manager, he obviously took us from those depths and up a couple of leagues again when he won promotion at Wembley. So a big part of our history and ultimately a big part of where we are today, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And Paul, you work in the media. You have your own production company, and you were lucky enough to go down with James and film Jimmy. I mean, as James said there, we've not heard much from him. I think I interviewed him for a DVD, God knows how long ago, and I think Boards interviewed him briefly for the Aberdeen game. But you've got a real stack of footage, haven't you, where he covers a wide range of different things. What was it like meeting Jimmy and getting that chance to sit down at his local bowling club, I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was down at Roost Bowls Club in Swansea. And I think there was a little bit of apprehension about what Jimmy would be like because, like you say, the fans and basically anyone who's associated with the club haven't really heard much from Jimmy since he left us in the mid-90s. So when James came to me, said, I've got this idea to do an interview with a former Burnley connection. And I was like, right, okay. I sort of rolled my eyes going, well, who's it going to be? And
you
he
must
said,
dread him. You must dread him ringing up, trying to rope you into all kinds.
Yeah, there's always some madcap idea that he's come up with, But when he said Jimmy Mullen, I just put everything down and said, right, we've got to do this. Initially, we started talking about doing it on Zoom or something like that, and I said it's got to be done in person as this. So we took time aside to travel down to South Wales, and as far as planning and things like that, there wasn't really a lot in it. I mean, Jimmy's wife Sharon was absolutely lovely. She's like his biographer, basically, and she sort of arranged it all with James. We went down and I was set up in this bowls club, got all the cameras up and everything ready, met all his friends there. And then it was that thing, like, Jimmy's here, and he sort of like walked in through the door and it's like, what's he going to be like? And he was absolutely brilliant, an absolute gentleman. Wouldn't say a bad word about anyone or anything like that. Loved his time at Burnley, which caught me by surprise, really, because of the way that he left and things like that, a few urban myths about what he was like and stuff, and he was completely the opposite, really, to what I expected. He was really, really welcoming and really forward about his time there.
I'd say the same. I think the old saying is not meet your heroes, but in this case, I'm glad that we did because he kind of lived up to what I had in my head as a kid growing up, like kind of adoring him and his team, and he was just the same in person.
Yeah, and he brought a couple of bits, didn't he, James? I mentioned to Paul before we started recording that just amazing 91, 92 caricature poster. I thought one of you had taken it, but that's his signed copy, isn't it, in a frame that you can see in the background of the video.
Yeah, he had a collection of stuff from Wembley and the caricature painting. As soon as he said he brought a picture, for some reason I just knew it was going to be that because a few of us had some of them, and we could name all but I think 2 of the players that were on there, and he helped us finish it off. But he had all sorts of stuff, pictures from Wembley that you're probably not even seen in the media. They were kind of behind the scenes pictures, and he said he had a load of stuff left at home that he'd not brought along as well. I don't think he really kind of appreciated how much we would love to see that sort of stuff. So yeah, it was brilliant.
Yeah, and you managed to get this interview through a work contact. Is it Jimmy's nephew who helped you organise this? Because it all came together quite quickly, didn't it?
It was a bit of a random story. So I was at a work event doing my day job, and we have a bar in the office where we work, where clients come to afterwards, and we're having a drink with some other customers, not ones that I actually work with. And they were from Swansea, and I've got customers down in Swansea as well. But as usual, the kind of icebreaker for me was, "Oh, you're from Swansea. We've got a player that you might like, Connor Roberts." And their response was, "Are you a Burnley fan?" I'm like, "Yeah, big Burnley fan." And one of the girls there, she came over and started laughing and saying, "One of my colleagues, his uncle is Jimmy Mullen." And I don't think she was expecting the reaction that she got, because I was like starstruck. Even if she'd have said Sean Dyche, I don't think I'd have reacted in the way that I did with Jimmy Mullen. I'm like, "You've got to like arrange for me to meet him, like seriously." So the lad that I work with that manages the account, he's Australian. I don't think he knows anything about football, certainly not 90s 4th division football. And when I explained to him, why I was so intrigued about all this, I said, "Please, can you put feelers out and send me their email address and all that sort of stuff?" So I reached out to them. They emailed Darren, who is Jimmy's nephew, and then we just kind of coordinated it through there. So I think he was as shocked as we were that we really wanted to do it. But yeah, Darren was, again, much like Jimmy's wife, really nice guy, and managed to pull it all together. We had a lot of ideas as to what we wanted to do, whether it was get him at the turf or came up with a suggestion of a podcast. And I don't even have a podcast, but I knew that somehow we'd make it work, sort of thing. And as soon as we said podcast, he was bang up for it. So yeah.
Yeah, excellent. And Paul, what's Jimmy up to these days? Because he's still active in the game, isn't he? In a roundabout way. I don't think it ever leaves you, does it?
No, he's been involved in football for basically forever, even since leaving Burnley. He started working with the Welsh FA and so on, so on. And lots of scouting, been to lots of different clubs. But at the moment, he's the manager of the Wales over 75s World Cup team or something. And he does that with his friend Tim Bowker. He just basically coaches them. He gets very frustrated, man, because none of them are professional footballers. He's constantly having to stop and start the training sessions to tell them what to do. But yeah, they did reasonably well in the last World Cup. Obviously, I won't give too much away of what he says in the podcast and stuff. It's well worth a listen. But yeah, he's keeping busy. Whenever you put sport on in front of him, his wife says that's all he does. He just watches sport all day, and he's still very involved with keeping up to date with football as well, especially from the Premier League and so on, and keeping a close eye on Burnley as well.
If you mentioned football, or even his time at Burnley, his eyes just lit up, didn't they, Paul? He definitely still loves the game, but I was surprised, like Paul was, when we met. Do you keep your eye out for Burnley's results? He's still very kind of passionate about Burnley and wants us to do well. And he came to the game last season when we played down at Cardiff and what have you. So yeah, he loves the game, and he still loves Burnley.
Yeah, definitely. Well, he's a great listen and a great watch. I know we're putting it out as a podcast, and then we're going to put it out on YouTube as well, so people can get to see you and Jimmy interacting and can see a glimpse of that famous caricature post, which I think, like I say, I think everybody at our school had, James, didn't they? I think we all had copies. I wish I still had mine, I tell you, but maybe we can get the club to do a reprint at the next anniversary in kind of 4 or 5 years. But that's brilliant, lads. Thank you so much. Thanks for going down. Thanks for spending the time. I know it's a big slog down to Swansea, but yeah, hopefully Burnley fans will enjoy hearing Jimmy Mullen reminisce about his time at Turf Moor. And yeah, keep your eyes on social media channels for the links to the YouTube portion of it, and obviously carry on listening to this if you're listening to the audio version as well. But big thanks to Paul and James for doing that.
Francis again. It's 2 against 1 for John Francis. He's got inside one. Can he get inside 2? Francis has done it again. It's 2-1. It's John Francis again.
Well, pleasure to meet you, Jimmy. I'm really grateful that you've given us this opportunity to come down and meet with you. As we said earlier, you're a legend in Burnley. You're well respected still up there. People speak very highly of you, and it's always been a bit of a shame that we've never really had a chance to kind of hear from you years after, in terms of like your thoughts and your memories from your time at Burnley and things like that. So I'm really grateful for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Having us down here. We'll get on to Burnley at a suitable point, but I think before we get on to that, it'd be interesting to know kind of your backstory in football, where you came from, kind of your journey that led up to arriving in Burnley in 91-92. But yeah.
Well, as a footballer, as a player, I came down from the northeast, Jarrow, to join Sheffield Wednesday, and I had 10 great years there. I enjoyed every minute of it. Then I joined my old friend Ian Porterfield at Rotherham, and again enjoyed my time there. Then after that, I had a loan deal at Cardiff City. Came down on 3-month loan, and then Len Ashurst, who was the manager, asked me would I be interested in signing in the summer, and I said, yeah, I'll speak to you in the summer, which I did. Came down, and then I signed a 3-year contract, and since then I finished my playing days at Cardiff.
Yeah, I was going to ask what kind of brought you down here, but obviously met your wife down here, and that's what's kind of returned here after your managerial career in Burnley.
Yeah, well, I've got a son and a daughter that live down here.
Yeah,
both got grandchildren, so I've got four boys as grandchildren. Not one of them interested in football, by the way.
Not that you didn't manage to convert any of them into Burnley.
No. One's a rugby player, I can say that. So down here in South Wales, rugby's not bad. It's not bad.
Yeah. So kind of on that journey, so you played for Wednesday. Who would you played under Jack Charlton at that point? And I guess, did you kind of learn anything from him that you later adapted into your own managerial career? Or
well, the one thing I learned about Jack was he's straight talker, straightforward, didn't hold back.
Is that a North East thing?
Yeah, it must be. But he was. I remember one day coming down the corridor, and I was with Terry Curran, we'd just signed him from Southampton. And Jack was coming down the corridor one way and I was going down, and Jack just turned around and said, "Morning, Jim." I said, "Morning, Jack." And Terry said, "What about me, Jack?" He said, "You're no fucking good." He said, you didn't play on Saturday.
Yeah. So he was only interested in the ones that
you were only interested in the one that was playing.
Yeah. Where did you play at Wednesday? Were you a defender or a midfielder?
Defender, yeah. Defender. Yeah. I went to Sheffield Wednesday as a midfield player.
Right.
But they asked me, it was a game that we were short, a youth team game, asked me to play centre back, which I did, and they thought that was going to be my best position.
You worked your way back.
So I went that way throughout my career. But there was times, many times where I was asked to play a left fullback.
Yeah.
Especially a lot
of times. Were you left-footed then, or?
Yeah. Right. Especially down at Cardiff. I spent a lot of time playing as a left back. You know. I didn't enjoy it as much as what I did as a centre back, but a game's a game, and you know.
As long as you got in the 11 on Jack's right side.
Absolutely, yeah.
I was what sort of, I was always interested to understand what type of player he was. I was reading last night on Sheffield Wednesday Forum, funnily enough, and they were saying the best description they could give you was a very wholehearted, committed player. Is that?
Yeah,
is that
I mean every game was something which I gave him a lot. I gave everything. Whether it was a good game, whether it was a bad game, or it was a medium game, or whatever it was, I went with the intention of giving my best every game. And that's one of the things which, you know, I look at players these days when I watch football matches. I look and I think to myself, does he really want to give it? You know? And that hurts a little bit. Because I was limited. I was limited, but I knew what my strengths were. You know, I was when I needed to be physical, I was physical. When I needed a simple touch of the ball, I could do all of that. I learned that very quickly. Yeah,
and is that something that you try to instill in your teams, like as a philosophy?
Yeah, I think in modern day football now, to sit down with somebody who's come from abroad, in a style of football that they've been used to, and you having to sort of try to get him to adapt to the way you want to play. It must be difficult. It must be difficult, you know. So from that point of view, I look back and I think myself, God, you know, in my time, it was pretty straightforward. If you were a defender, you were a defender. If you were a striker, score goals.
And it was 4-4-2, and that was it.
And that was it.
Yeah. Back on your time as a player, so if I recall correctly, you had a number of promotions during your playing career as well. Do you want to maybe give us a bit of background on that?
Yeah, my last season, which was my testimonial season at Sheffield Wednesday, we got promoted, and I was the club captain. And that summer, after getting promotion, that's when I went to Rotherham. And then my first year as captain there, we got promoted. And then the following year, that's when I came down to Cardiff. And I was captain of Cardiff. They promoted as well at the same time.
Zero
So
promotion winner out of that.
three promotions out of the same league.
Yeah. And then did the same later on as a manager, obviously, with Burnley and things like that. So, do you ever go back to any of these clubs? Do you go back to Sheffield Wednesday? Have you been back there? And
I've been back a couple of times. Yeah, I've been Roger Wilde, who's one of the players. Roger, I still keep in touch with. He's asked me to pop up on a couple of occasions and being introduced to the crowd before the game, and half time and that. So I've done that a couple of times at Sheffield Wednesday. I've only been back to Rotherham once. That was a get together for the team that got that promoted that year. It was a great weekend to get to meet all the lads again. And then, but Cardiff City now I don't miss a game.
So you're regular watching?
Yeah, I miss.
Right,
I go to every home game. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame that they struggled a little bit towards the end of the season. The huge potential at
massive. It's city capital of Wales. They've let a few players go this summer.
Yeah.
I think they've let 11 go, and they haven't made many signings at the moment, but plenty of time yet.
Well, if they wanted to get out of the third tier, they might need a manager.
Well, I think so. Too many people have asked me that too many times. Yeah. But no.
But fond memories of all the clubs that you've been to.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, without a doubt.
So when you went into management, was Blackpool the first managerial job, or did you manage elsewhere prior to that?
No, I actually left Cardiff to join Newport County.
Right.
As player manager, and I was at Newport for, I think it was around about 6 or 7 months, 5, something like that. Anyway, round about that.
What level were they at that point? Were they non-league or were they in the league?
That's when Ian Porterfield got the job at Aberdeen.
Yeah.
When Fergie came down to Man United, Ian went into Aberdeen, and of course, Ian and I were close friends. And he rang me up and said, would I be interested in joining him as assistant at Aberdeen? And I just said to him straight away, I just said, what time do you want me there?
Yeah.
You know, it was just one of those situations where you think Aberdeen, Alec
club.
Ferguson.
Yeah, they'd won European
trophies
at that
point. And the players, 9 international players in the team, I just couldn't even think twice about it. But I went.
Yeah.
And that was 2 years of just fantastic. It was really fantastic.
Was he in Europe when you were there?
Yeah, we got to Europe. Yeah, we played in Intercities Fairs, wherever it was at the time.
Yeah.
We got the Scottish Cup final against Rangers. We absolutely battered Rangers, and we ended up as a draw, and we lost on penalties after extra time, which was a crying shame, really. But
I think they were the last team to win the league, weren't they? Before Celtic Rangers dominated for the years after.
Yeah. Well, at the time, you had Rangers, Celtic, but then you had Aberdeen and Dundee United. They were the four. They were the four. You would guarantee one of them was going to win the league, or win the cups.
I'd seen a documentary on Aberdeen recently about that kind of European journey. It was about Fergie's time there and stuff like that. But again, they're a big club. Burnley obviously played them in Europe when we finally qualified for Europe after all them years and ended up with Aberdeen. I'm like, looking forward to going to Barcelona. But we met up with a lot of Aberdeen fans up there and passionate fans up there. As well.
They're fantastic, absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, so you kind of cut your teeth there, and then you went to Blackpool.
Then I came to Blackpool as assistant to Sam Ellis.
Okay. Oh, he ended up assistant at Burnley afterwards.
Yeah. Sam was.
He was Stan's
assistant.
Yeah.
Well,
what was he like as a character?
He was no. Don't mess with Sam.
Yeah.
No, that one. You do it that way, or you don't do it at all.
Yeah.
He was straight down the line, and he expected people to be at their best whenever they could, and he was like that as a player at Sheffield Wednesday. That's when I first met him.
He played with him as a player. With you.
And good standards. You know, as a centre back, he used to try to do. He was one of those people that turned out. I know my strengths and I know my weaknesses.
And I'm going to play to them.
Head it, kick it. You get on with it.
Yeah.
You know, that sort of thing. And he was good, and I enjoyed my time there. I learned a lot from him, to be fair.
Yeah, I hadn't realised that. That's and then it kind of came full circle when you ended up assistant.
Well, after Sam left, I was given the job. He recommended that I got the job.
So had he moved on, or did he?
He went to Manchester City.
Right.
I'm trying to think who was the manager at Manchester City at the time, but he went to Manchester City as assistant, and I got the job and at Blackpool, and it was a complete, for me, from speaking personally without mentioning any names, it was a nightmare.
Right.
A nightmare. The club was in. Well, just
Their ownership in the 90s had a reputation, didn't they? So I don't know if it was the same owners back then.
Less said.
Yeah,
less said.
Won't go there.
Sort of thing, yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't a good time. It wasn't a good time. Listen, yeah.
Well, so that was your first experience of being in Lancashire then?
Yeah. And when I lost my job at Blackpool, Len Ashurst rang me up to ask me to come to Cardiff and take the development as a development coach for the young lads, because he was lacking in members of staff. So I came down back to Cardiff, and I think it was 3-4 months, something like that. Yeah.
So you came back down to Cardiff?
Yeah, I came back to Cardiff, and took over the development of the youth team. And then I got a phone call from Frank
Casper,
to would I be interested in being his assistant at Burnley. And I said,
where did that come from? Did that come out of the blue sort of thing? Or
well, him and Sam were talking.
Right.
And he had asked Sam, could you recommend somebody you could speak to about being the assistant manager at Burnley? And Sam said, Jimmy Mullen, go and get him.
Yeah.
So I went up and I met Frank and the chairman on a Saturday morning, and I spoke to the chairman quietly on his own. He asked me certain questions, which
Frank
I answered. Teasdale, yeah. And after about 2 hours of whatever, I think it was, he said to Frank quietly, tell him he's got a job.
Brilliant.
So that was it. So I was Frank's assistant.
And the rest is history.
Oh yeah.
So
I loved it. It was brilliant. I mean, Frank had a style of play which, I thought was great for the division that they were in. Mm-hmm. But I also thought sometimes, without speaking behind anybody's back, sometimes I thought, well, we can do better than that. Yeah. We can be a little bit stronger.
By being a bit more pragmatic.
Yeah. We're giving too much respect to the opposition, whereas I think we could get in their faces and get at them and make sure that you start the game in such a way that I think, bloody hell, what were you up against here?
I remember once we scored after 16 seconds and you weren't even on the bench. You were on the video.
I was on my way around.
On your way around, so they definitely lived up to that day. So were you assistant for the season that we got to the playoffs when they played Torquay?
Yes.
So you were assistant that season?
Yeah.
What's your memories of that game? That's the one where the flag flew over from a team down the road that we don't want to talk about.
No, I don't want to talk about that. No. It was. I thought we were going to do it.
Yeah.
I thought we had the squad. I thought the players they were up for it. This and the other. But to lose to like Torquay, it was like sort of.
Yeah.
That's not.
Burnley are a huge club at that level, without disrespect to Torquay, aren't they?
Not good enough.
Yeah.
That wasn't good enough.
And was the writing on the wall for Frank at that point?
No, not really. I don't think so. I think because obviously he started the following season, and we had the summer, and I had a couple of contacts where brought in the likes of Mike Conroy, Steve Davis, John Pender, and these sort of players where I knew the managers and the coaches, and I spoke about them, and they're all genuinely good professional footballers.
Yeah.
I knew Mike Conroy from my days at Aberdeen, and when somebody
had he played there or against Aberdeen?
We played for Motherwell.
Right.
And when somebody knocks Willie Miller around the place and Alec McLeish around the place, knocks them about the place, then he's got something about him.
Yeah.
And that was Mike Conroy. So
his record for us in that promotion season was
terrific.
Incredible, wasn't it?
Terrific.
So talk me through how you ended up getting the job then. We started off slowly, if I remember right.
Yeah, we did, and I think the game at Scarborough where we lost, I think we lost 1-0 or 2-0, but it wasn't so much the result, it was the way we played. We were just, it was like sort of as if you'd put 11 players on the field and say, go and do what you want. It was awful. It was awful. And on the Sunday morning after the game, I got a phone call from Brian Miller to tell me that Frank had resigned.
So was Brian on the board at that point? Brian Miller, because he'd been manager prior to that.
Yeah. Well, he was chief scout then, wasn't he?
Scout,
yeah,
right.
He was chief scout, and obviously he was somebody you could always talk to and ask his opinion because of what he's experienced through the years, in which I did on numerous occasions. I'd say to Brian, "What would you do? What would you do in that situation?" And he'd say, "Well, take it on board."
Yeah.
You know, but when he rang me, it was a case of, well, what am I going to do? You know, I'm his assistant. I'm just as much to blame as what he is.
Yeah.
And he said, well, the chairman's going to ring you in the next couple of hours. So I said to my wife, I said,
You're probably thinking that point.
I'm thinking, what do I say?
Yeah.
Thanks for the opportunity. Thank you. I hope if I got a chance of another job, you can give me a good reference. All that. But he rang me up and he said, I want you to take over as caretaker manager. He said, we will advertise the job. He said, because I've got a group of members of the board that would ask for that to happen. He said, but I like what you do. And he said, if things work out, he said, we'll talk about it another time. He said, but I want you to take over. Are you accepting that? And I said, oh yeah, love to.
Yeah.
So that was it. And then there were...
What's the process there like?
Well,
obviously, coming as Frank's
they advertised the
assistant.
job,
Yeah.
obviously, and I knew the managers that were, or people who were looking for work that were getting interviewed. I knew them all were getting interviewed, and I was obviously thinking to myself, well, he's a good choice, he's a good choice, or he's not a bad guy, but whatever.
Not considering that you
No,
were in the running
I
for...
never even thought about it.
Yeah.
And then it was my turn to go in for meet the board of directors. And the chairman, he spoke quite well about what I'd done for the previous year and this and the other. And I got a question. I was asked a question by one of the members. And I remember saying, you're asking me to be the manager. Do you mind how we're going to play? And one of them said, in what way? I said, do you mind how we're going to play if we win football matches? And they said, no, not at all. Why?
Not like today where you have to play in a certain style or a certain method.
No, we'd like to see some nice football. Like as directors, that's what they would do. We'd like to see some nice football. And I said, yeah, but winning football matches, that's what you want. And he said, yeah, I think I can do that for you.
Yeah.
And that was it.
That was it. We'd been
because we went to
fourth
Wrexham,
division.
the first game as caretaker. I'm walking down the tunnel with Flinney, and Wrexham go bang, 1-0, and I thought, oh my God, that's a good advertisement for me.
Next on the block here already.
That was it, yeah. But we went on and won 6-2.
Yeah, it's a game that stands
that
out.
was it. And it was a style of football which the players accepted.
Yeah.
Because of the training that I did the week previous to that game, the players bought it.
Just go on the front foot.
And just went and did it.
Yeah.
Did it. And that, as you know, we went, I think, 14, 15 games.
Yeah.
Won every one of them.
Yeah.
Went from 11th to top and stayed there.
Never look back, sort of thing. Yeah. What did you do differently to what Frank had been doing prior to that? Did you change the system? Did you change the players? Or was it more different instructions that you'd given to them to just go out and attack and impose yourself on the opposition?
All I said to them was, in a nice sort of way, I said to my back four, I said, when you're playing it in a football match, what don't you like? And they said, don't like that, don't like that. So what are you going to do with them? Are you going to put them on their back foot? And I used to say to Mike Conroy and John Francis, what do you like? Oh, we look over the top. So I said, you're telling me exactly what you want to do is exactly what I want to see.
Yeah.
And that's what we did.
So you'd listen to them, you'd let them have a bit of
just put the ball in the areas where they don't want to be running back towards their own goal. Nobody, no defender wants to be running back under pressure from strikers. And that's all we did. We got on the system. But what was lovely about it, as it progressed, we actually started playing good football. And bringing into that thing in the mind about turning the opposition whenever possible, but also when you do get the opposition in that area, play the football, do what you want.
I've watched that video back so many times of that season, and you mentioned you'd watched some of it back, but we knocked it about well. We attacked, we got it down the wings, put it in the box.
Yeah, but they were enjoying it.
Yeah.
They were enjoying it. I mean, in the dressing room, when we used to go in the dressing room an hour and a half before the kick-off, you could tell.
Yeah.
They were at it. They were bang at it.
And why had they not done that before? Do you think they'd kind of underperformed versus what their ability was? They just needed someone to give them that confidence and that belief?
I think we give the opposition too much respect. In my opinion.
Yeah.
No disrespect to the likes of your Halifax and your Yorks and your teams like that. No disrespect.
Burnley shouldn't be playing in the league game, should they?
Burnley Football Club, First Division. They've got the reputation. No, let's get ourselves into a position where we earn the respect of teams. And that's what we did. Mm. That's what we did.
Yeah, there were certainly some good games that season. The one that stands out for a lot of people is obviously that Wrexham game. There was obviously when we won the title at York, that it all culminated in that. I do remember a game just prior to that against Cardiff, funnily enough, at the Turf, and it was rocking. And I think the official attendance was 15,000. But looking at the videos,
it looked bored, didn't it?
Yeah, I think they definitely.
I think it made it.
What do you remember those games? And I guess the atmosphere at Turf Moor. What was your what's your memories of that?
Well, the Cardiff game, I can't remember what the result was.
I think it was 3-0 or 3-1 possibly.
Yeah, I think it was 3-1, wasn't it? Yeah. And played really well, really well, and easily earned the right to win that game. But the Wrexham game at Turf Moor was one of those where there was too much going on around.
After we'd just won the title.
Before the game, wasn't it? There was too much going on. It was my mum and dad were down and this and the other, and I was being asked to go here and do this, say hello, bump, and sponsors wanted to speak to you in the boardroom, and I wasn't. And I think I got into the dressing room in the last 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Before they went out, and to lose the game like we did was a little bit sour, because to be presented with a championship at the end of it didn't seem
I remember
right.
that. I remember that well. We were in the cricket field, but I remember you being on the pitch before. We'd not seen that before, because obviously usually you're in the dressing room and doing all that. So there was a lot of fanfare around that game, wasn't there?
It was just a shame that we didn't win that particular game. But we'd done the job at York. Yeah. So I think that was a bit softener.
I think the attendance that game against Wrexham was 20,000.
Something like that, yeah. It was massive, wasn't it?
Do you remember the atmosphere being good at Burnley?
Oh, God, yeah. I remember going out on the pitch, came down the tunnel, just to have a look around, and I thought, yeah, it's going to be full here. Yeah, it was. The atmosphere was incredible. And being in the dugout where we were, we had to walk around to go down there. People were shouting and screaming, this and the other, banging on the dugout and banging this and banging it. Scarves were flown and hats were going through it. It was just one of those. It was just, let's get this game over with, for God's sake.
Yeah. It will have been that season that we played Derby or roundabout then in the cup. Yeah. What are your memories of that? Because that is a game that sticks out in Burnley fans' memory as well. Like, I think it got abandoned due to fog, didn't it? But we had thousands of Burnley fans there just singing Jimmy Mullen's Claret and Blarney.
I know, that was the first time I heard that. I couldn't believe it. Because it was, whether it was a news thing in football or not, I don't know. But when they started singing that, I thought, throw it. Like, shivers, give me shivers, sort of thing,
It ended up in the news. I've seen articles on that before. But so you had a good connection with the fans throughout your time there.
Great.
Like I said, Burnley have gone on to big things now. They've been in the Premier League and Europe. But do you kind of recognise the part that you played in that, in terms of, we'd been in the 4th Division for 8 years and it needed someone to take the club by the scruff of the neck and get them out of that basement level, and that gave us the confidence, I think, to get to where we are today. I think you started that journey, if I'm honest.
If I'd have got that little bit of something to do with what they've done now, I'd be happy.
Yeah, no, I think you certainly did. Definitely, definitely started the journey. If you speak to Burnley fans of kind of our generation and before, even my dad, I speak to my dad, and when was your favourite time being a Burnley fan? And he'd gone on in the 60s and 70s and all that, and so many people say Jimmy Mullen. A lot of people do. So yeah, definitely held in.
It's nice. It's nice to know. Nice to know.
That season, they went on a tour of Russia. Do you remember much about that trip?
That was a trip and a half. I can tell you that now. I remember getting on a plane. We landed in Moscow airport, and we were told that we had a flight out into the wilds of further southeast of Russia.
Like Siberia.
Somewhere down there towards whatever it is they are now. But it was on the border of like say Yugoslavia or something like that. It was in the mountains.
Yeah.
It was actually in the Olympic camp that the Russian athletes and swimmers and boxers and everything were there before the Los Angeles.
Okay. LA
Olympics.
80,
they were all there. So we were in this camp.
It was 96. Who did they play in? Where was the Olympics then? Atlanta Olympics or something like that.
Yeah. And we were on the flight over from Moscow to this so-called airport in the hills. Somebody was complaining, some of the lads was complaining about this racket in front of them.
On the flight?
On the flight. So this air hostess spoke a bit of English. She said, show me that. So you come and show it. And it was flapping. There was a gap in the plane. No. I was like that. And it was flapping like this, and you could see right through it, down under the ground. And this, it'll be all right. We're not far away now.
And the Burnley football team were all on that.
Oh, God, mate, it was like that. It was flapping like that.
Yeah.
You could see the whole down on the ground.
Yeah.
God.
Were there any players that would like to push out of it? You'll get rid of it. So did you play some games over there? Or,
we played two games.
And what was the logic? Because that seems like a weird thing, like back in them days, especially for Burnley to go to Russia for a pre-season.
No, there was. I think we played. What's that famous name? Moscow Dynamo.
Moscow.
Yeah, we played them at Turf Moor, didn't we?
Ah, right, okay.
Yeah, I think we did.
So it was like a reciprocal thing.
They said, "Why don't you come over to Russia?" But we thought we were going to be based in and around Moscow.
Yeah.
But not out in this camp. That was up in the mountains.
Yeah.
We were everywhere.
Didn't think you were ever going to come back.
Oh God, yeah, it was incredible. Yeah. But we played two games and we won two games.
Right.
So that was fine.
Yeah, and I don't think there's much or any footage of that, but it's just a story that's done the rounds a little bit. And then we played Ajax, which was a massive thing for like as a kid. I remember just think like, wow, we're playing Ajax because they were huge then.
Yeah, we got a football lesson that night.
Yeah. But I don't think we got beat by too many, did we?
No, but the way they played, the way they went about things.
How did that come about? How did Burnley end up playing Ajax?
I can't remember, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But the mere fact that we were going to play at Ajax was just something which
a lot of people went to that game as well.
When the top teams in Europe, when the top teams in the world, you won't get many opportunities to play at the Nazis.
They had Van der Sar and goal.
Yeah, it was
in a big bright pink.
Yeah, it was great atmosphere again at the stadium. You know, it was one of those games where you, as you were saying, you think back and you think, yeah, we played them.
Yeah, how did Burnley, fourth division champions, play Ajax sort of thing? One game that I remember distinctly from round about that era, I think we'd been promoted at this point, was when we played Sheffield United in the Cup away, and we went 2-0 up. I think Adrian Heath scored 2 goals and then got sent off. Cold night in January. What, do you have any memories of that particular game?
A little bit. It was a bit of.
They were Premier League at that point.
Yeah, they were in the Premier League. Yeah, and we gave a good show. We at Bramall Lane. I thought we did really, really well, and hold your hands up, and we did the best we could on that particular day.
Yeah.
But to come back to Turf Moor for the replay, I thought we had a chance, and it just didn't work out that particular day.
They were strong.
Yeah, they were strong.
Brian Dean, I think.
They were a different team to what they were at their place.
We'd caught them off guard at their place. I think.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. Yeah. And then when they came to us, I think they were a little bit more aware of what we could do, and to be fair to Mr. Bassett, he got them
pumped up for that. Yeah, I remember there were thousands at that away leg. I went as a little lad in balloons and all that, and we got moved into stand behind the net at Sheffield because there were that many Burnley fans. And that was the thing in them days. We just seemed to take thousands to every game, sort of thing. But we were back on the road then, weren't we? So once we got promoted into what's now League One, so was it Division 2 then, because they changed it because it was the first year of the Premier League, weren't it? So I think we kind of had a decent season the first year.
I think we finished 6th or 7th.
Yeah.
I think it was, it was a decent season. New league, finding your feet.
But we weren't out of our depth, were we? The players certainly.
Yeah, we brought in a couple of new faces as well, obviously, and a couple of people went somewhere, wherever they went. But it was a learning point because we knew then what this division was all about, and then the second season we were ready for it. Yeah, definitely.
We went to Wembley and
yeah.
So did you have confidence? What were the expectations from the board? Did they want us to get, it sounds like a silly question, but did they want and expect us to get promoted again, or were they kind of happy that we'd got out of the 4th division and we were finally at our level? Or
well, I would think a bit of both.
Yeah,
a bit of both. I think once we got promoted, make sure that you stay in that level for one particular season, whatever that would be, the first season, or you'd be pushing to get either the playoffs or automatic promotion.
Yeah,
that comes into it. But we finished, I think it was 7th. I think it was like that, which was, for me, it was a good start. It gave us a good idea of what that division was going to be like. Mm-hmm. And of course, in the summer months, obviously we juggled a little bit with the team to bring in one or two maybe people that might make us a little bit better. And that season after that was, we got to do it.
Yeah,
we got to do it.
I remember we played, I think it was Rotherham on a Tuesday night, and for whatever reason I didn't go. I always used to go to the games, and for whatever reason I didn't go to that game, probably a school night or whatever. But my dad came back and said, we've just signed this keeper that is next level, and it was Marlon Beresford, and he said he was absolutely brilliant. What did you know about Marlon? Where did that come from? And was he like a big part of the promotion winning team?
Marlon was one of those goalkeepers that he was on the verge of being a regular at Sheffield Wednesday, but wasn't quite. And the ex-manager of Sheffield, who was manager of Leeds, Howard Wilkinson, thought he was a top goalkeeper, but he wanted him to go to Leeds as cover. And I met up with him, and I said to him, I said, listen, I know what's happening with Leeds. I know that you know everything about Howard. And I know that that club is a massive club and it would be part and parcel. But are you going to be a regular? He said, well, he's not. Well, I said, well, no. You come to me, you come to Burnley, you're my number one. No doubt. Number one choice. And I said, you then can make your own reputation by the way you perform.
Yeah.
So it went on for about 4 or 5 weeks, something like that, and then I kept saying, and he kept coming up with this, can you do it? I said, no, I've told you what it is. That is the deal. Come and do it.
Yeah.
And I think whether Howard had said to him one way or another, no, you won't be my regular goalkeeper.
They'll have had John Lukic or someone of that.
You won't be my regular goalkeeper, but you will be part of the first team squad. And I think that changed his mind, and he said to me, I want to come to Burnley. Yeah. And what a goalkeeper.
He was brilliant for Burnley.
Oh, fantastic.
Especially on penalties, he seemed to have
fantastic.
He
knew.
Record.
He was so confident in himself of what he was as a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
You didn't, if he made a mistake, he didn't have to be told. He'd sit in the corner for half an hour and threaten, himself. He was one of those keepers that he knew. He knew
when he'd had a good game, a bad game, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But so we'd signed players of that calibre, and that helped push us on, didn't it?
Yeah.
And then we got Plymouth in the play. It was a bit of a weird season because we were really good at home, and I think we had some mixed results away, didn't we? But we sneaked into the playoffs.
Well, when we played at home in the first leg, it was
the 0-0 draw. Wasn't it?
It was a 0-0, and it was one of those where Peter Shilton and I can't remember his name of the lad from Derby, his assistant. they were jumping and joy, this and the other, because they thought they'd got us down there, and this and the other. And I just said to the lads, like, okay, we've got another game, we've got another chance, we're going to do it. So we went down on the Tuesday night. Was it Tuesday or Monday? We went down on the Monday and stayed overnight. We had a training session on the Tuesday. And I'm thinking, what are we going to say? What am I going to say to these lads now? We're ready for the game. And I kept thinking all afternoon, well, they were having a kip and all that. So he gets on the bus and we gets to the ground, and the chairman said to me, he said, pop up to the boardroom. I said, Chairman, I just want to keep with the players. And he said, no, come up to the boardroom, meet them. So I went into the boardroom and I met the chairman of Plymouth, shook hands. And as I shook hands with him, this guy come up and said to him, he said, Mr. Chairman, he said, great, good news. We've got all the buses booked for the trip to Wembley.
Yeah, I've heard
So I said, Chairman, I'm going. So I couldn't wait to get in the dressing room. I said, listen, lads, they've got the team, the bus, all the buses have been booked for them at Wembley. Yeah. What are you going to do about it?
He's just done your team talk. He's just done your team talk.
That's it. That was it.
Because
I didn't say any more.
We'd heard this tale that they'd booked the hotels and they'd done this. So that's a true story then.
And their chairman went, oh.
Yeah. And we battered them. Yeah. I think they went 1-0 up, didn't they?
Yeah, they went 1-0 up and we came back and we 2 great goals.
Francis was like...
I'll never forget, he ran right in front of the dugout. I think it was either Conroy that played him in, whatever, but he ran right in front of it, and I shouted, go on, John, all the way. And he went like that, and then he just suddenly went inside and
he was very fast, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Was he like? Could he have performed at a higher level? Do you think, John Francis?
Yeah. I mean, the one thing he got was pace.
Yeah.
Lightning quick. And going back to the early days of when I took over, I used that. What's the point of having somebody looking at you with a ball when you can run like the wind?
Yeah.
Get it in behind him.
He was strong as well.
Yeah, powerful. Yeah. Powerful. Played his strengths, and he did it. I remember seeing playing against players about this difference in height, and he was just bang, knocking them out the way. But his pace was absolutely frightening.
What about Roger Eli? Because did he start out as a defender, and he somehow made his way forward?
At times, I was lucky because, again, he was a striker that could play wide, like John. Mm-hmm. John could do the same. He could play up front, or he could play wide. So I was lucky in as much that I could.
You had that versatility from
between the two of them.
Yeah.
And Roger was, sometimes he was in the team, sometimes he wasn't. But he was one of those, he never moaned, never said nothing. As far as he was concerned, if he was picked, he was picked. If he wasn't, he wasn't.
And you've got him either side.
Conroy. Yeah, Conroy was an automatic one, obviously, because big, strong centre forward, knocking the centre halves around, get the ball to drop for them two to pick up the pieces. And
it was clinical for Burnley that season.
It worked.
One of the players that had a bit of a, not an enigma, I don't know if that's the right word, but Eddie Randall, we've heard so many times that he could have played at the very, very top.
He was a class player. Yeah. Really, really was a class player. It was, I don't know about Eddie, it was whether he was in the mood or whether he was in the right frame of mind. I mean, I used to have to sit down with him on a Friday when all the other lads were having food and things like that. I used to sit down and say, right, we've got so-and-so tomorrow, what's your thoughts? I'd let him speak to me, tell me what.
To try and work out what mood he's in.
Yeah. And I knew then whether he was going to play or whether he wasn't going to play. And he was like that, but when he played, he was a quality.
Yeah.
Fantastic footballer.
He could
see things which I'd sit there and think, how the hell's he done that? How's he seen that? But he had that ability. He was fantastic.
So why was he?
He was a great lad. A great lad and all.
Yeah. Why was he at our level? What? Just.
I think he was.
Didn't have the commitment.
He was a loner. He wasn't one that mixed with the lads to see. Well, we're going out tonight. We're going for a beer or something like that. Nothing like. He was one of those that just wanted to be in his digs.
Yeah.
Until he had got a house and just to be on his own. That's the way he was.
We used to see him knocking around, and it's a different era now, but he lived near us.
They all lived. That's right. It was just around the corner. Yeah. He was a good. He was a dream of a lad. Yeah. Good, fantastic footballer. I was amazed when I got him from Aldershot. But he had all the ability that you would have wanted for a midfield player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what about Graham Lancashire? He came through as a young kid and banged that hat-trick at Wrexham.
Yeah.
Now he'd probably be moving for $1 million
Yeah,
after a week of scoring that,
absolutely,
wouldn't it? What's your memories of him coming through?
He was one that I could always put ready to put him in. He was always on the bench.
Yeah.
You know, he was always, if he wasn't playing, he would be on the bench. Because I knew if I put him on, I'd get something from him. He was just, he loved the football club.
Yeah.
That was the easy point with him. But when he played, you knew he was going to score. You just knew he was going to score because he was just that type of player. Yeah. He was one of those players where, you know, you think, well, it's a shame that he couldn't be on a regular basis.
Yeah.
You know, because you've had the people like John
in front of him, and he couldn't break through past them.
Yeah.
The other player from that team that Burnley fans often say we've never replaced is John Deere. What's your memories of John Deere?
Yeah. Well, John was always in the team. It wasn't until we got promoted into the championship where I felt that he might struggle in terms of
the pace of the game.
Pace and his physical ability was no question, no problem, anything like that where he would save. But I think the pace of the game would be too much for him at times. It was either play him and then taking him off. Or,
is that when you brought Warren Joyce in to replace John Deere? He came in to replace.
But Warren, background, you know, he was fantastic years at Preston. And then, was it Plymouth he was down?
He was at Plymouth, yeah.
The word from Plymouth that he was homesick. And
I think he scored 2 on his debut for us, didn't he? Right. That was Walter Joyce, was it? Walter Joyce.
Walter Joyce,
yeah.
But he came in, he was class, the same, you know. Yeah. But with John, I mean, it was one of those situations where you know, it's difficult to tell him that
it's not personal.
You're not going to be you're not personal. You're not going to be a regular anymore because I think we've got somebody that can do the job better.
Yeah. And then
that's always been a difficult thing for when you especially when that team that came out of 4th division, you would love to them all have gone away for that summer and come back 5 years younger.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that then you wouldn't have a problem, would you?
Yeah, but that's the challenge when you've gone up. You then got to deliver that message to them and players.
Unfortunately, that comes to the stage where you've got to make decisions.
Yeah, and that's management, I guess. So working his way back towards the back of the team. So Davis and Pender were the centre halves then, and Davis had a reputation for a player that could definitely go all the way to the top, and obviously we lost him to Luton, which seemed like a weird move. Like I felt that he could have gone to a bigger club.
I was amazed. I spoke to him about it because he'd made his mind up that he was going to go to Luton, and I said to him, you know, there's going to be clubs other than Luton who's going to take notice of you. Why are you going to Luton? He said, well, obviously the contract that he was given must have been, you know, something that he wanted. Yeah. It was nowhere near what we would have been able to do for him, but he was, in his opinion, going up to a higher level and playing where he wanted. So, which was a shame,
he was
really.
Footballing centre half, wasn't he?
He was a great footballer, and score goals. He'd get a dozen goals a year from set plays.
Yeah.
You know, things like that, guaranteed.
I remember him popping up for a goal.
And a great lad, a smashing lad, great in the dressing room. Yeah, great in the dressing room.
It's a shame how it panned out with him in the end, because he left obviously when he'd come back, and he'd left under Owen Coyle to go to Bolton, and I think that tarnished his reputation a little bit at Burnley, but he certainly, he was like one of the best players that we'd seen for a long time.
Yeah, without a doubt.
And alongside Pender, was he... From memory, there were different styles of players.
Yeah, well, John was the physical type. He loved the challenges. He loved to get mixed up. He liked to get all that and this and that. Whereas Steve, he could handle himself, no problem, but he could play. Yeah. He could play out from the back and he could set things up. You know, so he was.
He was good at carrying the ball, wasn't he? Steve Davis.
Yeah. There was they were like that.
Yeah.
They knew each other's strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah. So the board at the time, Frank Teasdale, wasn't it? And What was your relationship like with them? Did you have a good relationship?
Yeah, very good.
Yeah,
very good. Yeah, no problem at all.
They took over Burnley in difficult times, didn't they?
Yeah. Well, to be fair, when you look at them, before Frank Casper got the job, it was only 2 years before that they nearly went out of the league. Oblivion.
Yeah.
No football club anymore. That's the way it was going. So to be fair, that board of directors did well to keep the club in the place it did.
Yeah.
And for us to get out of it, it must have been a major plus for them.
And football was different then. They will have been doing it. Today there's a lot of money in the game and stuff like that, but they probably were doing that for the good of the club, effectively, because they were fans of the club or whatever, I would imagine.
Yeah. They were all fans of the club, but they were all had individually. They all had individual businesses, so they were all sort of
doing it on the side almost.
Yeah.
Who was your assistant? Was it Clive Middlemass?
Clive Middlemass, yeah.
So he was your assistant manager.
Yeah, I brought him in.
Had you got a relationship with him from prior to being at...
No, I spoke to Terry Cooper about him, because Terry had him at Bristol City for a long time. And Clive, I think, was he'd been at Preston. And I'd heard that he was looking for a club. So I went and I met him and spoke to him, and he said everything I wanted to hear and all I needed. And it was a pleasure to bring him in, because he was great with the players.
So was he good cop with the players?
Good cop, bad cop. Yeah.
And you were bad cop?
I was a bad cop.
I can't imagine that. But, yeah. So you were the one that had to deliver the message.
Yeah, he's the one that
Hero.
quietened me down. Take your time.
So he was kind of the diplomatic one.
Yeah.
Going on to that promotion season, so we going back to the Plymouth game, so we won down there. Francis scored them great goals and took us to Wembley. What's your memories of Wembley and the turn? Like Burnley outnumbered Stockport, I think 5-1, didn't they, in terms of fans at the ground and stuff like that? But what's your memories of Wembley?
Well, the memories I got is more than anything else is when I walked down the tunnel, and just to see the stadium and this, and shiver now when you think about it. And I'm thinking, what a massive day, what a big day. I wish I was playing, And but the one thing about I noticed that amongst the lads, they were calm, quiet. There was nobody joking, nothing. It was like
they were
just focused on that game.
Because Stockport had finished above us, hadn't they?
Yeah, they did. Yeah. And they, at the time, were a good side.
Kevin Francis and Andy Priest.
Yeah, they're two big centre forwards. They were a handful, And didn't have to say anything to Steve or John or anything about it. Just you know what you're going to be up against. You know they're going to be direct. You know the balls are going to be coming in all the time, and you're going to have to deal with it. But it's what happens when we get it. What we're going to do with it. That's what me and matters.
Because Francis was about 6'8" or something like that. He was huge, wasn't he?
Was huge.
And Andy
huge.
Priest, he went on to play in the Prem with Palace and what have you.
Then, of course, after about 20 minutes, John Francis pulls a hamstring.
Yeah.
And I said to Andy Farrell, I said, get changed. And Clive said to me, what about Lancashire? Can we put him on? I said, no. Get Andy Farrell in. He said, why? I said, just
hold the head.
Just do it. Yeah. Just do it. So we put Andy on, and I just said, I'm going to play one up, and I'm going to play 3 in midfield, and that won a game.
Yeah.
Because we outplayed them. We
McMinn.
got more possession of the ball. We stopped them from firing the long stuff that they wanted to do all the time. We had the bodies to stop them from getting.
So your aim was to control them rather than go on the front.
Because I knew we'd score.
Yeah.
I knew we'd score. Yeah.
Ted McMinn, he got 2 of their players sent off, I think, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Was that a tactic or was
No,
that...
don't ask me. He was the one that got it. I mean, Ted was. Christ Almighty. What he did at Rangers, what he did at Derby. He did for Burnley. He was fantastic. Out and out winger. The only thing I used to say to him now and again was when he'd go past somebody, stop and go back the other way.
Yeah, and take him again.
Go on again.
Yeah.
And I said, you don't need to do that. You just do your job and get the ball in the box. I said, yeah. And but on that day at Wembley, him and David Ayres on the other side, absolutely fantastic. They won us the game.
Yeah,
They won us the game.
So you'd not, that wasn't a tactic from, right, go out there, wind them up and lull them into it. It was more, that just kind of panned out naturally as the game went on. But
well, when you think where the goals that came from,
yeah,
Gary Parker.
Yeah, Gary Parkinson scored that one.
Yeah, and
David Ayres.
David Ayres.
Yeah.
You know, no strikers involved.
Yeah. And you'd signed Ayres from Blackpool for about...
I signed
you signed him for Blackpool from Riddle.
I signed him for Blackpool from Riddle.
Yeah. Where did he come from? Because he was 25.
I watched him 3 times playing for Riddle. And I came back to Sam. And Sam said, I've seen him. I took on board what you're saying. He said, but he won't give me the money. The chairman wouldn't give me the money. I said, no, okay then, understand. So when Sam left, I just kept in touch with him. So I went to another game and I saw him game. I've got to sign him. So
is he one that just slipped through the net, like through the football league and stuff like that? If that makes sense.
No, I just knew he got the ability. You could see that at a higher level he could handle that, no problem at all. What a player! He absolutely. Once he got that ball on his left.
And he played for a long time, didn't he?
Oh,
he played till he was about 40, I think.
Yeah. I met up with him funnily enough, I met up with him at Clyde Middlema's funeral last year. And he's just the same guy, same bouncy fella, loved about it. And he always keeps saying to me, you're the one that set me up, you're the one. I said, no, I give you the opportunity, you're the one that...
You did it yourself.
You're the one that did it, all that.
Yeah, no, he was brilliant for Burnley, one of my favourite players.
Oh, he was fantastic.
He came to visit me as a child in hospital when I was round about that time, him, Rooster and Nathan Peel. So I've got fond memories of all them players, and they were all relatable people, do you know what I mean? Like these days, they're in this stratosphere that you can't associate with them, can you? But brilliant player for Burnley. And we lost him to Preston. A few went to Preston, didn't they? Gary Parkinson went there, and
Mike Conroy.
Conroy went there, Kurt Nogan, I think, went there. So there were a time where we lost quite a few players to Preston. What's your memories of Lancashire derbies? Because we didn't really play Blackburn around that time. We probably played them in the Manx Cup or something.
Yeah.
But
I can't remember many of them.
Yeah.
Well, Preston was probably one.
Yeah.
They were
nothing stands out. Yeah.
Always, as local derbies would be. You know, bouncy, loud. No, the games themselves nearly always crash bang wallop. Never. Whoever came out the best on the 20 to 5, quarter to 5, whatever it was, you've earned your right to win the game.
Yeah. Who would you say is kind of the most talented player? Because Adrian Heath had played at the very top, hadn't he, for Everton. What was he like as a player?
Adrian Heath's background speaks for itself, doesn't it? I mean,
played in Spain and
Everton, top goal scorer nearly every year. I know I got him at the wrong time. He was. And I think you'd be the first to admit that I forget what age, I think 32, 33 or something like that.
Yeah, been about that.
Yeah. But
he was still a good player.
Still a good player, yeah. At our level, he was good enough to do it. And also, he was on the pitch.
Really?
Yeah, he knew what I wanted on the pitch, and he made sure that the players, if they didn't do what they would do.
So it didn't surprise you that he then became manager after?
I wasn't surprised.
Right.
I wasn't surprised. No, not
because
at
as
all.
a fan, you wouldn't necessarily associate him with maybe having that kind of voice on him.
Well, I think the crowd in general, the supporters in general, took to him because of his background, what his build-up was, and what he did while he was there with us. Was he gave us whatever we wanted from him.
He was a leader on the pitch.
Oh yeah,
he played
he was,
at that top level, so he
definitely.
didn't. Yeah, I was going to ask about the season we got promoted from the 4th Division. We had 5 keepers that year, didn't we? We had Chris Pearce, Dave Williams, I think Nicky Walker, and 1 or 2, Andy Marriott. Why did we have no consistent keeper? Like we won the league, but still we had that consistency up front. But we went through 5 different keepers. Was there any kind of reason that you remember us?
No, just getting the right one.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Basically, just hopefully making sure that we got the right one. I know obviously it was my choice, my opinion. So in the end, but I know it looked as if we can't make your mind up over the goalkeeper and this and the other. But at the time, at that particular time, I wasn't sure of that particular person.
Yeah.
It wasn't until we got Marlon. That was it. Bang, done.
That's when we had that.
Then we had
number 1.
David Williams.
Yeah. I think we loaned him to Rochdale and he kept a clean sheet against us, didn't he?
David was a very good goalkeeper.
Yeah.
I think if anything probably stopped David from being a better goalkeeper was he wasn't the tallest, and that probably looked as if it stopped him a little bit from getting a higher. But he was a good goalkeeper.
Do you remember the protest where the fans kind of turned their back on the pitch? Do you remember much about that or not?
No, I can't remember that.
And it ended up in not Mars bar, Snicker bars. They put a thing in there saying it could be worse. You could be a Burnley fan. And my mate's granddad, he had the paper shop next to and he refused to sell Snickers bars in there because they'd slagged Burnley off in this thing. But they were protesting against the board. But I don't know if you remember that. It's one of them niche things.
I couldn't remember that. No, to be honest with you. Can you remember that, Sam? No, I can't. No.
On here, so on reflections, like looking back on your time at Burnley, obviously we were on this upward trajectory, and eventually you left when we'd kind of dropped down a level. But how do you reflect back on your time at Burnley with a sense of pride, I imagine, of what you achieved?
Well, as I said to you earlier, if I'd have given that little bit of where they are now, that I did something towards doing that, I'd be delighted with that.
Definitely.
But I just wanted to make sure that we needed to get out of that division.
And when you look back on it, you left us at a higher level than what you found us at.
Yeah.
Anyone would snap their hands off for that, and all the
my
managers
time,
have done the same.
I loved every minute of it, and at the time, as you all do, when you're facing the bullet, you've got to bite the bullet and say, it's great time, thank you.
You've enjoyed it.
Enjoyed it, every minute of it, yeah.
And then, so after that, like the thing I always found a little bit strange was that you'd had this really successful managerial career at Burnley, who were a big club at that level, and you'd got 2 promotions, but you never really ended up back in the Football League until Walsall years later. What?
Because I never chased it.
You didn't chase it, right?
Not really.
Yeah.
Not really. That was something which got to me a little bit.
Right.
But after a while, I did apply for jobs, and I did. I had the job at. Funnily enough, I had the job at Lincoln, the chairman said to me, "I want you to come across on Thursday morning, and I've got the press and everything coming in." I said, "I can't do it. I've got something on Thursday morning."
Yeah, you didn't fancy.
And that was it. He said, "Pull the job."
Right. Well,
didn't say, "Well, we'll put the press to another day." This and the other. I just said,
You were a Football League hearing for a player.
Yeah. Yeah, that was it. I was going down to the FA.
To defend
a player, yeah, for Telford United.
Okay.
Because I was there for a year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Telford United.
You helped out Jay King, didn't you?
Jay King, ex-player, for when he was at Cardiff with me.
So
as a player. So I went down to one of the players I was at Telford United, and his FA appearance was, and I was going down. So I said to him, I promised him I'm going to pick him up on the motorway, take him down to London, give the FA as best I can, see if what he get away with it. He said, "Oh, that's what you think of my club." He said, "That's it, forget it."
Yeah, and
pulled
the offer.
Pulled it. That was it.
Cause, like your reputation really deserved a good job at that level, like especially teams like in the Northwest or even like Cardiff and places that you've got connections with. So yeah, it was just a case that you'd not pursued it. I
didn't really know. Yeah. I didn't go.
So what did you do at that point? You were still in football, just not managing.
Yeah, well, I've worked for a number of clubs in terms of looking for players.
Yeah.
Which I've enjoyed.
Yeah.
I enjoyed doing it. My wife hasn't enjoyed it that much, like, but depending on
where in the world
you're going to go, yeah, sort of thing. But I enjoyed it. 2 years. I had 2 years with
Walsall. When you went to Walsall.
What?
No, you were with the Welsh FA for a few years, weren't you?
No, I was with the Welsh FA. Who was Neville. I worked with Neville Southall.
Oh, right,
he was in charge of the under-19s, and I was his coach for 2 years, and brilliant. Loved it.
So you enjoyed being kind of out of the limelight a little bit, but still involved in the game.
Yeah,
right.
definitely. Loved it. It was great.
What, bringing through the young kids and working with someone like Neville Southall, who's got that big
Even the
reputation.
manager of Wales now, he was one of them.
Right. Was he really?
Yeah.
Right. Greg Bellamy?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
And a few more of them. Yeah, quite a few. Went on to play top-notch football.
Yeah.
I think it was about 5 of them that went on to play in the national team.
Yeah.
Good players.
Yeah.
All good players.
Yeah. Wales had that
Lovely to work with them.
golden era,
lovely to
didn't they,
work
when
with
they
them,
got to the Euros semi-final and all
Yeah,
that stuff.
fantastic.
What? How did the Walsall job come? Because you ended up at Walsall eventually, didn't
Yeah,
you?
I did,
Managing?
yeah.
Did you decided, right, I've got the bug for it again, or?
Yeah, I did, yeah. I went as assistant to Richard Money, and we got promoted that year. And I did enjoy that, being number 2 again, because I was mixing with the players all the time and giving them a geo.
You were the good cop now.
Yeah. And I enjoyed that. I really did. And then when he left, the reason why he left was because the club were going to sell 2 of the best players. He didn't like it. Richard didn't like it. The fact because he said that we've got promoted. Now I've got to look for a centre half, and now I've got to look for a goalkeeper or whatever it was. I'm not going to do it. He said I had enough of that, getting this club out of the division that we did. So he walked away. So the club asked me if I would take over, and it didn't. I for the want of a better word, I didn't feel right to take over. The way I did.
Stepping into his shoes.
Yeah.
Did it feel different to when you'd done it with Frank Casper then, or?
That was probably different because it was the first time I'd done it.
You were younger, and
whereas this time around, I was thinking, and I didn't feel right. I didn't feel right about it, and the club was it was run by a chairman who didn't care about anybody else. His word mattered. That's what. So it didn't surprise me when I was sacked. It didn't surprise me at all.
I feel like you did reasonably well there to start.
Did all right.
Didn't you?
I did all right. I think it's because he had somebody in mind that they thought could do a better job.
But you kind of came into that half-hearted, and then that was your last job effectively. Managing. So what have you done since then? You're involved in all sorts of different stuff outside of football.
Clubs have rang me up to go and watch
scouting
and things like that, which I've done. But I don't miss a game in Cardiff now. Home games, give them support. Moan and groan all the time.
Yeah. What you do differently? Yeah. So the one night that sticks in a lot of Burnley fans' minds is the night at York, where they'd gone there in the thousands and gone home as champions. What are your recollections of like family and friends and
of the York game?
The whole around the York game.
Well, the one thing about was the journey over. It looked as if half of Burnley was travelling to York. The traffic, that was claret and blue scarves flying around the place, hats and bonnets, and of course I knew my dad was coming down for the game because it wasn't far away from the northeast to come down. And then I had in the dressing room when we got there, I got a knock on the door, and a guy said, "It's Mr. Mullen." He said, "There's a gentleman out here saying he's your father." He said, "But he hasn't got a ticket." I said, he has got a ticket because I put his name on the envelope. So anyway, I took him out, got that sorted out, and I just looked at the crowds and I thought, God, I can't believe this is York. York City. Everywhere was claret and blue. Everything was claret and blue. So anyway, when we go down the tunnel, we had to have the police wait to get the crowd from one side of this where they should be to the other side, just for Burnley.
Because there were that many there.
There was that many there. They had to get them from one side to the other side. Yeah. And there was a gentleman stuck in front of the dugout when we were waiting, and he's got a little boy in his arms, and this little boy was crying. So I said to the chap, I said, give him me here, give him him. I took him off and I put him down in the dugout, and he sat. And he sat there and watched the game right throughout,
The
from
whole
start
Burnley.
to finish.
Wow.
And then it was till quiet, when it went very quiet, and just sitting there, and his dad appeared. Like he said, "Wait." I said, "Here you are, there you are." I said, "Thank you very much." He
So
said,
his dad was behind the net where it was all
Yeah,
carnage.
yeah,
and,
yeah.
That'd never happen now, would it? But what?
and he did, I think he did get in touch. I'm the boy,
God, yes.
I can't remember, it was a phone
Few
call.
years back, isn't it?
Oh, he did
To thank you for.
say it. I've never had a chance to say thank you,
Oh,
he said,
wow.
but
He sent you a picture.
I think it was, yeah.
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 I was in
he
that
sat
side
there, he
behind
was,
it.
he was absolutely gobsmacked throughout. Me jumping up and down like a maniac, crash band wall up and all that, and he's just sat there frightened to death.
Yeah.
Even more than anything else.
Didn't even know.
I don't
it was
think he
going. His dad
enjoyed
just-
the game.
His dad just dragged him along. But,
Yeah, it was good. But
yeah, we were in that side, and the atmosphere was just something else. I remember I was a little boy myself, but I just remember the noise and the celebrations when Francis scores that goal.
Yeah.
I didn't realise until recently how late that was. It was literally like last kick of the game sort of thing. And
she got it online there.
Yeah.
When we're finished.
Yeah.
When we're finished, I'll show you it. It's when Mike Conroy jumps into the net.
yeah,
I think he jumps into the net like that.
Yeah.
In the back of the net.
Yeah.
He's jumping like that. And John
One of them's
Francis.
on
Yeah, and he's hanging there like that.
yeah,
Yeah, we got it online there.
yeah. But 2/3 of the ground at least must have been.
Oh
bare,
yeah,
hasn't it?
that's what I'm saying. The police had said to York they didn't realise what
What was coming?
was going to come in from Burnley.
Yeah.
They were expecting 2,000 or 3,000, this and the other, but I think it was about 7,000.
Yeah,
7,000 or something like that,
If
wasn't
not
it?
more, there must be. There were several other games like Carlisle and others where we just took over the entire ground.
And I'm trying to think whether they put the game back quarter of an hour or something like that.
I think it did get delayed, yeah, because we were in the
But
queue.
what the police had said was the end that was meant for the away supporters wasn't big enough. But there was a gap on the other side of the field, which they said they're going to have to put a barrier between the home supporters and the away supporters. But we've got to get them over there. So the overfill from there, until they were happy that they were enough there, they had to go across the pitch and get on the other side. So really, in a way, we had three sides of the ground
Yeah.
with supporters.
If you watch the footage back, when Burnley score, you see the whole ground.
Yeah, the whole ground lifts up, yeah,
didn't
yeah.
it? So, but yeah, what a remarkable finish to the season that, and yeah, Francis's goal was literally because again we went 1-0 down in that game,
Yeah,
didn't
we
we?
did,
And then we pulled one back, I think, late in the first half, and then last.
And it was again, I see Mike Conroy running down past the
He cuts
past
the
the
ball back,
dugout,
doesn't it?
and he pulled it back, and I saw John just waiting for it,
Yeah.
get it in there.
Yeah, if you could bottle that.
That was brilliant, that, yeah.
feeling. Some of the young players that came through at the time, round about when you were there, would have been John Mullen.
Mullen, yeah.
Local lad.
Yeah, yeah. He
Chris-
went on to good things as well, didn't
Yeah,
he?
he went to Sunderland. He scored against
Yeah.
Schmeichel for Sunderland.
That's right. Yeah, yeah.
in the
He was
Prem.
always going to, from a young lad, when just watching him develop
Yeah.
was good. You know, and just a matter of time before he got in the first team.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and then
definitely.
getting a big move.
Yeah, and then the big move came in. You know,
Yeah.
and I probably at the time when Burnley couldn't turn down the finances that you get from a transfer like that. You know.
Could you see when you were coming through that this guy's...
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. You could, Lancashire was another one, you know, and as it happened, they were both strikers, you know, and which, you know, to get two strikers like that coming up through the ranks, it's a gem.
Yeah. And did we have a good youth set up at that
Yeah,
point?
very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, very good.
Harry Wilson, was he from the...
Well, if you look back over the years, Burnley Football Club were never really one that was in the transfer market.
They were producing players.
They were producing-
And a lot came from the North East,
Yeah,
didn't
from
they?
the northeast, yeah. The scouting system in the northeast was second to none.
Yeah.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so, yeah.
I think I heard that the scout that we had some involvement in scouting likes of Shearer and stuff like that earlier. Not
Yeah,
obviously for us, he went
yeah.
to Southampton, but I'm sure we had, from what I heard, we had a good scouting system and good youth.
Well,
team.
it was the same scout that got Shearer down that got Steve Davis.
Right, yeah, because he was at Southampton, wasn't he?
He was at Southampton, yeah.
Yeah.
And he was the one. I was at a game and having a look at it was a first team reserve game, one of the top clubs, whatever it was, this and the other. And the scout was there, and he just said to me, he said, if you're looking for a centre half, he said, have a look at Steve Davis at Southampton, and that's when I clocked onto it. So I did.
He wasn't getting a game there.
He wasn't. No.
Yeah.
No. And I watched and I thought he wasn't the quickest, but he was comfortable.
Yeah.
He was, you know,
Perfect for the level.
Nobody ever outrun him in terms of. But his
We had two
ability.
Steve Davises at the same time, didn't we?
Yeah,
There was
yeah.
Another Steve Davis.
Yeah.
Who went on to be
Steve Davis came back. He went to back to Crewe, was it?
That's
Crewe?
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ended
And
up
he went
managing.
on to Wolves.
Yeah.
And he was manager of Wolves for a while.
Yeah, they put him in.
Yeah, they put him as caretaker manager.
The caretaker, didn't they? Other youth players that were there around about the time you will have been there: Chris Brass, Paul Weller,
Yeah.
and Paul Smith. Do you remember?
Yeah, all of them.
players?
All were coming through.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just at the time that, you know, we weren't in a mad rush to put them in the first team at the moment, because the team as itself was
So you
comfortable.
could bed them in.
Yeah. I think it was a case of you could pick your games and say, right, we could put him in on that one, put them in on that one. But they were there. We knew they were there, ready to come through.
Yeah.
And no hesitation to put them in the team. No hesitation at all.
They're all confident.
Oh yeah, all good players, all set in their mind what they were good at.
Yeah. Chris Brass, Paul Weller. Do you remember that much about them players coming through as well? Then on a more.
Chris Brass, right back.
Yeah. Scored the best own goal I've ever seen. Have you ever seen that one on YouTube? Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember that one. Yeah.
Kicks it into his own face and breaks his nose. And puts it in his net.
I think he was a Geordie as well, wasn't he?
I think he was
He
from
came
up
from
that
the
way.
northeast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a lot of players. It's a hotbed up there. Like,
Yeah. Good.
Walsall Boys Club and
Good
stuff like
scouting system. Very good scouting system. Yeah, Brassy came in. He was very confident in himself.
Right.
So you knew that when you put him in the team, he was going to hold his own. No problem at all.
that. Yeah.
And who was the other one?
Paul Weller.
Paul
He went
Weller.
on to have a good career. I think he had an issue with his stomach, didn't he?
Yeah,
But
he did, yeah.
I think he was linked with West Ham at one point,
Yeah.
but very talented player.
Yeah. He was a good player. Yeah.
I think he'd come up from Brighton or somewhere down that way. I think he still lives in Burnley now. Is there anything, looking back on your time at Burnley, is there anything that you think I would have done that a little bit differently now? Like,
There's always something that you would have done different.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. But without saying it, the only thing I want to do is take the memories of the good times.
if you had the chance and go back, you wouldn't go back and say, I'd redo it again. You'd take what you had in terms of the ups and downs.
Yeah, definitely.
And you lived in and around Burnley then, like, because these days they don't live in the town at all. They live in Manchester or Cheshire or wherever. But you lived in Burnley.
We lived in that. What was the village?
Well, outside Briarcliff.
Yeah,
Briarcliff, right, nice part.
just
of the world.
outside. Yeah, with a lovely view of the mountains.
Yeah, the mountain. Yeah, Pendle Hill and all.
Pendle
that.
Hill. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, we stayed a while. We didn't hop steps.
Yeah.
Disappear.
But you'd be in and around the town, you'd eat and drink and everything else. Like these days, you would never see the manager in
Oh
Burnley,
no!
but yeah.
Oh no! We didn't. We went into the town on a regular basis to do shopping and bits and pieces.
Would you get mobbed? Would you be like?
Well, there was always somebody who would say,
Yeah.
But let's get out of here.
Yeah, no smartphones then. So yeah, you were safe. Who's the best player that you ever managed? Whether that's at Burnley or any other club.
Do you know, that's a question which I really couldn't really say that definitely that one. There were so many good
Got
players.
the on-field, the personality.
So many good players and so many players with attitudes or for this or for that and this and the other. Good players, but a bad attitude.
Or a less talented player, but with a top attitude.
No. There's nobody I could really say. It's the same as when she said to me, pick the best team that you would pick. I think that would be a little bit unfair on the players I had at that particular time.
Yeah.
Because whichever team I put out on a Saturday or a Wednesday or whatever it was the best team I could put out.
Yeah.
Now, whether that included players who people might not have said, oh, I don't like him, or whatever it was. But as the year go by, you know, players go out, players come in. So to say what would be the best team, it would be easy for me to say, oh, him, and him.
Yeah.
And then, oh, what about him though?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know.
So I wrote down a team to see if I could guess what your team would be.
Go on, then. I'll tell you what. Give me a pen.
Even I struggled at times because there was 3 players. I thought I'm going to have to put 3 on bench here because I can't leave them out. And I ain't got a keeper on bench, and you had 5 in one season.
I'm going to do this, but you're not going to take it.
I'm not going to take it. Yeah.
What was the lad I signed from Rangers? Left back.
Chris Finicum. I'll tell you what, I've guessed his team here. This was his method on a Saturday morning, weren't it? Do I take him out? Do I put him in?
Just up midfield. Joyce, and who's the other one?
Jamie Highland.
Who?
Jamie Highland. Where do you have him?
From Sheffield United.
Oh yeah, Jamie Highland.
Right. So you read them out, Jimmy, and I'll tell you who I've got.
Parkinson.
Yeah.
Davis.
Yeah.
Pender.
Yeah.
Vinicum.
Yeah.
McMinn.
Yeah.
Joyce.
Yeah.
Hoyland.
I didn't have Hoyland.
Ayres.
Yeah, got Ayres.
Heath.
Yeah.
Conroy.
Yeah. Did you have to throw Hoyland in there?
Who did you have?
I had the exact same team, but I had John Deere instead of
That's
Jamie
what I was
Hoyland.
going to put.
Yeah, he crossed him out.
But he,
He was at the next level.
John Deere, I was going to, I would have put John Deere.
Yeah, so that's remarkable that because you did have like so many, and then I had 3 subs. I had John Francis,
Roger Eli.
Roger Eli. I've not got the subs on here.
Andy Farrell.
There was another lad that I didn't want to miss out that I did.
I'd have put Andy Farrell.
Andy Farrell.
A sub.
Yeah, he's still at the club now, isn't he? He's been there all that time. But so what's Jimmy Mullen doing now then? I think your wife when we were texting
last
tried to
year,
sort this out, actually.
I was asked to be the manager of the over 75s for Wales to play in the World Cup, over 75s World Cup. So I said yes, I would, and for 4 months, a nightmare, absolute nightmare.
What the personalities?
Well, everything about them. Not one of them had played professional football. Not one of them had played professional football. So every time, the first few weeks, every time I had a session, I put a session on, I had to stop. Stop. Don't do that. Stop. And it was on and on and on.
What's the standard like?
Poor.
Yeah.
But anyway, I whittled them down from 40 to 16. And the World Cup was played at Cardiff, at Cardiff City's training ground.
Right.
And the teams were coming in from America, Germany, Holland, Japan, Australia. You name it, they were coming from.
Are they all insured?
Yeah. So we played in the group stage, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing because it was 8 aside, 35 minutes each way. Right?
On grass?
Subs on and off. Half the pitch. As if you were putting, if that's a pitch, it was like that way.
Yeah.
That was
played which ways?
Yeah. Won the first game, won the second game, won the third game. We're in the semi-final.
It's like you start at Burnley, this.
Came out. Who did we play? Germany. We played them in the group game, and then we played them in the semi-final. Beat them. Who do we play in the final?
You're going to say England.
England.
Yeah.
So here's an Englishman taking a Welsh team against England.
Yeah.
At half time, we were 3-0 down, right? And the striker that we had, who was the most mobile at 78 years old, the most mobile, was injured. So I said to him, can you go on and just stand around? Because there was no offsides.
Yeah.
He said, yeah, I can do that. I said, right, you're going on. So get the referee, get him on. I said, stand right in front of the penalty spot. So he went up like that. He got the ball, took half a yard, bang, 3-1. Same again. Gone. 3-2. 3-3.
Same guy, hat-trick.
Same guy. And then the referee blows. End of it. Penalties.
Yeah. Well, England are no good at penalties.
No. So I couldn't. He was the one that wanted to take the penalties. The guy that I wanted to do the penalties, I'd taken him off at the end because I fell out of what the rules and regulations were, is that if you take somebody off, you kind go back on and take a penalty.
Right.
And I'd taken somebody off to
That
put
you
this
wanted
lad
to
on.
yeah.
And he said, I'll take one, Jim. Right? So 6. England scored 6 penalties. We've scored 5. We need to score this one. And he goes on. He fucking missed it.
Oh, no.
So we got beat 6-5 on penalties.
But you got into the final, like,
Got into
unbeaten
the final,
all the way
yeah.
there. Wow.
And this year, there's another World Cup in Japan.
Yeah.
And I've got them
Are you going there managing?
going there as
wow,
well,
what an
yeah.
experience.
over 75 since
Brilliant.
in Japan in September.
What's like? I know you said the standard's terrible, but what is it? Is it literally walking football, or have any of them played at any standard before? Or?
No, not league, not professional.
Yeah.
No. Good standard
just-
in non-league.
Yeah.
Some good players. Yeah, there's some good players in that.
Yeah.
And these lads, which have managed to whittle down, they're okay. They're all right. Fit-wise.
Can you not get any ringers in, like sneak
No,
some
you
in
can't
who's
do that. You can't
60,
do that.
68?
No, you can't do that. We had one that he came up to me one day. He said, "Jim," he said, I don't know what it is. He said, I just can't breathe. Something, I don't know why. Difficult to do. So anyway, 2 days later, he ends up in hospital, heart, and he has what's them things to put in? Stents.
And you've had him bombing up
2
and
days.
down.
2 days later, he's there training,
2 weeks later, he's gone.
and he was up and down, and I kept saying, "How you doing?" And he said, "Breathing, great, brilliant."
Yeah. So do you do like training and all that sort of stuff, or you just turn up on the
I
day
just
and-
coach them. Coach. I always just give them something that will put a smile on their face. And then we'll have a game.
Yeah.
And then I'll stop and start the game.
Yeah.
Ready for the.
Is it broke?
You have beaten England this year, though. You beat them in March.
We beat them at Newport. Beat them
Right.
4-0.
And are they the favourites?
They were favourites.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
Beat them 4-0.
Yeah.
Lobbed the keeper 3 times.
Is it?
Can't jump.
Is it broadcast? Like, can you watch it? Is it on like YouTube or
Yeah,
BBC
yeah.
or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
you'll find it.
And then we're down here at this bowls club, so you into bowls and all sorts.
Yeah, I
of
love it.
stuff
The
as well. Yeah.
people here are fantastic.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. Nice
Yeah.
people.
These 2 football.
Football mad.
Leeds United support. I don't know what Paul supports. Arsenal. There you go.
Someone has to, don't they? Exactly. Yeah.
He's the one that taught me.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah, he coached me.
Right.
Yeah.
So are you
He's still pulling his hair out.
so are you playing in a league down here, or is it like a friendly?
Yeah, it's a league, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's a top player, by the way. This one.
Really?
Oh yeah, he is a top.
How do you get into it? Like, how do you? Is it? You get to
Well,
a certain
it was
stage of life and you think, right now,
Frog marched.
yeah,
We got frog march. Yeah, neighbours when we moved in
yeah,
gave us 2 days, 3 days.
She came round, she said, we need new members.
Right.
You're with us on Thursday.
yeah.
That was it.
Dragged us round.
They've got the one near my
Came
house. I
down
might
there.
end up signing up.
It's a great club. It's great coming here.
Yeah.
I love it.
He's a good bowler as well.
Really?
He's only been bowling a couple of years, but I'll tell you what,
Yeah.
he's not bad.
Right.
He's not
But
You got a certain technique sort of thing. But,
yeah, bowl it the right way.
yeah. Just aim for that white one. Oh. Just in closing, like obviously, like I said at the start, still adored by Burnley fans, particularly of that generation. Is there a message that you've got for the fans?
I'm just delighted that the success that they've had in reaching the Premier League.
Yeah.
And I think they've got a manager now that knows what it's about in there. And I know they've had a lot of managers since, but
I think he'll play to the strengths, though. I
Yeah.
don't think we'll try and out Man City this time round. I think he'll try and be a bit more play to what we've got effectively.
yeah. I still think that you can you can split the Premier League in two halves. You know, you're going to have them 6 or 7 teams that are going to be there or thereabouts, and the other ones fighting against relegation.
It's going to be tough, but I think there's clubs up there that could have a bad year, like Brentford, who've lost the manager, and they've got a young lad in who's not done it before.
Yeah, that's a gamble.
Yeah.
That's a big gamble, that is, which he's done a fantastic job. I mean, I think he'll do well at Tottenham.
Yeah, I do.
I think he'll do well because he's the way he gets teams to play. Really,
players buy into him. You can
forward-minded, very forward-minded. They'll do well. Manchester City will come back. Liverpool, fantastic. Chelsea, you know, if they win that World Cup or whatever, that'll be a bonus for them.
But do you think Burnley can kind of do what they did under Dyche and maybe put a few noses out of joint and like even 17th? I'd take that right now. But do you think Burnley have got the ability to do that next year?
Well, when they played down here at Cardiff, they murdered Cardiff, murdered them. Played some great football, some good football. When it comes to the physicality side of things, they might have a problem on that side of it. But football's different now. You know, you can get teams that can just play the ball, pass the ball, no physical challenges, nothing like that. You don't see anybody.
You can't get away with it now anyway, can you?
Can't, no. So yeah, I mean, when you look at last year and you look at Leicester, Ipswich, and
Southampton.
Yeah, the ones that went up came straight down. You know,
it's going to be tough, but
and you've got to pay. It looks like now you've got to pay. You got to pay 20 million for anything.
Do you think bringing someone in like Kyle Walker is a sensible move?
I think he'll do well.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I think he'll do well. He's a good professional, very good professional. He's a leader. If he's not captain, he'll be a captain.
Yeah.
Out there, no doubt about it. And I think he'll do really well for them.
I think
it's a good signing.
Yeah,
it's a good signing.
Do you still look out for the results? Like I know you go on Cardiff, but you still look out for Burnley's results.
Yeah, of course I do. Yeah.
But yeah, no, thanks. Like I said at the start, like we're really grateful for you having us down here, and I think it's testament to you that we've travelled this far to come and see you and like really wanted to do this because Burnley fans still hold you in such high regard, myself included. So yeah, no, just
well,
really
I might be able to come up with something.
Yeah.
Pop in for a game one day.
Yeah. Bring some of them over 75s if we need a bit of experience for Premier League. But,
Bring them up on a bus.
Yeah.
We need steps to get them off.
Yeah. Thanks for sorting it all out. And again, your wife's been a pleasure to deal with and help bring this together. So, no, really grateful.